So welcome everybody to another episode of the Misfit Toys. Give me some jazz hands, give me some snaps. I'm super excited. Wait, today we have a secret guest. The secret guest is Hooker Eyebrows. Because pre-show, all of our fans, I know you're watching from all over the world, from the UK. We love you. Write in, tell us where you're watching from. We got people watching from Hong Kong, New York, LA, Chicago, you name it. And the pre-show discussion, I'm going to give you the scoop, was how do I make my eyebrows look sexy without looking like a hooker? Maria, fill us in.
Oh no, I want to look like a hooker. I'm fine. Like,
and today's amazing guest, Nishi. It's Axel, but I like to call her XL. So Miss Nishi XL, what's up, girl? Welcome.
Ooh, thanks for having me.
And like many of us, even me too, people, we get all three of us, we get the question all the time. Excuse me, what are you?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I'm like, I'm a gay Ukrainian Jew who's raping you right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm never, ever doing that. But like, it's just so stupid. Like, how do you answer these questions in a politically correct, without punching them in the neck kind of way? What do you say? What do you say, Nishi?
I like to tell them that my name is Maria. You know? So then they're like, oh my God, like, where is that accent from? Downtown Mexico. I don't know. What am I supposed to say to that, right?
Nishi's go-to is confusion. She's just like, I'm going to confuse them. And then like, some people, they'll be like, oh my God, what are you? I can be like, well, I am from this amazing country. It's called Germany. We are very famous for our cheese and our breads and our delicious things. People get confused. I like this. I like this angle of confusion. Maria, how do you handle that question?
Fun. I'd be like, oh, I'm from France. Born and raised over there. Yeah, you can hear my French accent, huh?
I love it. Shout out to Ray. We love Ray, one of our super fans. Shout out to Danielle Knowles. What's up, girl? Hey. So really, Nishi, what is the if I want to know what are you, which means basically what is your ethnic background, right? That's usually what people are asking, right?
But that's a wrong way to ask.
They're like, I want to know can I get your genetic makeup?
Oh my God.
Like,
okay.
What do you say?
You want my 23andMe results? I'll just email that to you right now. I am considered 90% Pakistani.
Okay. So wait, time out. For the people who are watching at home, to save you the time from having to Google Pakistani, because you probably ain't going to spell it right either. So Pakistani, let's break this down. Pakistan. Whoo. Okay, Maria, if someone, what would one of your friends, acquaintances think if they heard Pakistani? Where would they think that would be?
Oh, like, well, my friends know, but I'm saying that if it was like just someone random on the street.
Right. Acquaintance, like, random acquaintance.
Isn't that just India? And I would be like, let me get, you know what? Let me take a breather first because.
So Nishi, what has been the craziest thing that you have heard when you're like, I'm Pakistani, and then they come back with what? What is the craziest thing you have heard? Where you said, I'm Pakistani, and you're like, you pack standing at the grocery store? Like, do you fill bags? Is that what? Like, what's the craziest thing you've heard in response to I'm Pakistani?
It's usually, are you the 7-Eleven kind or the 9/11 kind?
Oh,
so that,
wow.
I mean, at least they know there's a difference because
at least they know there's an 11. At least they know there's an 11 involved.
Wow, that's so sad that we hold the standard so low for these people. That's like, well.
Wait, so is it a 7-Eleven or the 9/11? I've never heard that before. Please, if you're watching, any of our fans, have you ever heard, are you 9/11 or 7/11 Pakistani? Because that's a new one. Like for Indian, I hear, are you the feather or the dot? That I've heard before. But are you 9/11 or 7/11? Ooh, that's a new one for me. Please write in if that is a thing.
Yet. First of all, can we just unpack this real quick? Just a little bit of unpacking. The fact that you even need to, like, you shouldn't even be asking what our ethnicity is. Like, first of all, like, that's just like, why is that necessary? And I learned this on my own, you know, because at first I used to be like, oh my God, what are you? Because I would find someone who was ethnic in the group and I'd be like, oh, good, someone I can relate with. And now I take it, you know, I've pulled it back and, you know, it's not important. It's nobody's business. If I find out, you know, later on, like, oh, they're Asian or they're Filipino, then I'm like, oh, what's up? You know, let's bond. But I've learned to like scale it back and be like, it's not no one's business. Like, you don't even, that should not be the first thing you ask someone when you meet them.
No, it should be, how much money do you make?
Exactly. Absolutely.
I'm British. I still feel guilt for the partition of India and the problems that caused for so many people. Thank you for putting that out, Ray. He knows. Explain us, Nishi. Unpack this. Where is Pakistan exactly? What is the, like? Explain us. Just give us a quick.
Oh shoot!
A quick teachable history moment.
All right. So I only know two things about Pakistan. I was there and I'm gone. And literally that's all that matters to me. But I guess the short of it is India used to have Pakistan as part of it. It was just one big country. And it's crazy because recently, like I think in 1947, right? And you can fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure 1947 is when Pakistan decided to break away from India and became their own nation. And it was a religious thing. Because there was Hindus and then there was Muslims. I think it was an argument about vegans and meat because that's all it comes down to. Pakistanis love meat. We are meat eaters. Indians, not so much. So
I've eaten some tandoori chicken in India, some tikka masala. So I don't know. I don't know if
that's the influence. That's the influence from the Pakistan. You know, they say they don't do it, but I'm pretty sure they still cheat because you can't live without that chicken tikka masala. You know?
That's a bomb.
Yeah.
So, do you consider yourself American?
You know, that's a pretty good question. I feel like I have a lot of third world tendencies that will never, ever go away.
For example?
So, for example, I mean, I've had some crazy experiences with just, okay, like here's the thing. I get cast into these roles as like Latinx people. And then my Pakistani starts coming out. And it is the weirdest thing. Like if I don't know where I fit anymore because I'm like in so many different circles. And so one of the things is my dad, he didn't believe that I got my MBA. So he was like, hey, where are you getting all this money? You know, because I had a really nice car and everything. And he's like, so tell me, who's giving you money for sex? And I was like, okay, this is a third world thing that they believe that women can only make money through the exchange of fluids, you know, not like brains. And so, so it was pretty weird. And then I would be like, you know what? At least I'm only doing hand jobs. That's what it is, Dad. Not gonna lie, it pays a lot of money. And he would get so mad. He would just he would be like furious. And I'm like, hey, you know, like be proud of me. At least I'm doing something with my life. And
wait, but I thought you were a comedian. Wait, so you're a comedian with an MBA? Is this?
Yeah. Well, I am a comedian, and I mistakenly got my MBA because I was in the mindset of I want to please my parents, and I want to be a good little IT person, or an engineer or a businesswoman, but I freaking suck at all those things. I have dyslexia with numbers. I cannot, like it's not serious, but I get lost when it's too many things going on. I'm like, I can't. Like, just tell me your salary. We're good. I don't need to know any more than that. So I did do that whole thing of striving to like, please my immigrant parents because they came to America so that we could marry white people,
Did you marry a white person?
I did.
Wow, you are a good daughter.
Yes, I am. It was to make them mad though. It was not to make them happy, just to be fair. Like,
you didn't marry for love, you married for anger and revenge.
Right. That's that blood right there.
That sounds like something Maria would do. Maria would do something like that. Like Maria, what's the most spiteful thing you've done to your parents?
Oh man, I'm just a bad Asian daughter. Like everything I do, I have good self-esteem, When my mom, what's funny, that the whole like sex worker joke about like, because parents will say stuff like that. They'll be like, "Are you a hooker? Are you a hooker? Huh?" My mom, she's like, I don't know. I went into this like weird Indian, Pakistani, Filipino accent right now. That was very strange, and I apologize. I wasn't ready for that. But she'll say stuff like that, and I remember in high school, she used to ask me like, "Are you a prostitute?" And then like when you answer like, "Well, yeah, sure," they lose their minds. It's like you were already ready to accept this. You are accusing me. So now I'm like, yeah, I have promiscuous sex on a regular basis, Mom. They get so pissed. They're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, you're the one who assumed. I thought you was cool with it. I thought you was progressive. Now you get mad? Like, that's rude, Like, yeah, no. I anything I do is spiteful.
So when people see you, Nishi, do they automatically see an immigrant usually, right? When they see like from a distance, they'll be like, oh, she's what do they call them? Off the OTB or FOB, off the boat, fresh off the boat.
Fresh. I haven't heard that actually in a while, but yeah, thanks for bringing that back.
Thanks for triggering me.
No, I never get stereotyped in that way from other people besides my family. And then maybe like frat boys, like back in the college scene, they'd be like, look, I found like this really exotic Mexican chick and she has this really cool accent. And it would just be like one of those things where I'm like, oh my God, what the heck am I doing here? But I honestly, the most racist thing was last week. Somebody didn't want to work with me because of the United States history with Pakistan. She didn't want to help me clean the house. And I was like, okay, that was kind of weird. But she's like, where's your name from? Like just curious. So I don't know. It was just really weird. But then the twist was that she was African American. So I'm like, dude, we're fighting against the same people. It's the British. No, just kidding. But she's like confusing me. I'm like, the United States has brainwashed you into thinking we're enemies, but we're actually closer than you think. Like I'm all for Black Lives Matter, but she's not for Brown Lives Matter. So it wasn't that fun. But
Audrey, where are you from? Where's Audrey Shearer from? Are you in the States? And if you are in the States, what state are you from? Miss Audrey Shearer, would love to hear from you. And Danielle, also, where are you from, girl? Yeah, when I moved to America, I'm an immigrant kid, and I moved to America during the Cold War from communist Russia. So I was the commie kid for the longest time. And I would come home crying, and I'm like, Mom, am I a communist? Oh my God, everybody's calling me a communist. And she's like, Boobala, darling, calm down. You're not communist, you're homosexual. There's no cure for homosexual. At least there's capitalism for communists. You basically screwed for the rest of your life. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm such a bad homo. Like I don't have very good grooming skills. I don't know what to do with this. I tried Just for Men today and I dyed my beard, Maria. Can you tell? I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to get young. Like, I don't know what to do. This is turning into a situation. Like, I'm having problems. Nishi, I'm scared to go to the barber or to the salon. Like I'm just turning into like a wild beast. Like I don't know what's going on. This used to be a cute West Hollywood gay boy, and now I don't even know what I look like now.
You look like Iggy, the immigrant from.
I'm gonna switch my headpiece. Now I look like some kind of like European like footballer from like Spain. Like I totally could be like some like footballer. I could totally be like play for like Real Madrid or something.
European like ravers. They're just like going to EDC. They traveled from like Scotland. Oh my god, I've been really into the Outlander. I think it's British, but there's like Scottish guys and so hot. That accent is
do you ever use your accent on purpose? Like, do you ever go out and just do an accent the whole night long?
Oh yeah, all the time with my husband's family, nonstop. Some of them don't even know what I actually sound like. Because because it's fun. Like they're from the South, so they have absolutely never seen a brown person in their life. They don't know that there's like a middle spectrum because it's just black and white down there. So, whenever they approach me, they'll be like, oh, like, tell us more about yourself. And I'm like, I'm only here for the green card.
Oh my God. That's great. When I first moved back to LA, back in, was it 2012, 2013, I would go to the bars, like, with my friends or whatever. And I would legitimately walk around with a British accent. I would just be like, yeah, no, I moved here from London. It was back and forth over the years. My mom's from Philippines, then we moved over, and my dad's from blah, blah, blah. And then Americans are really dumb. I just, it sucks that I'm American because, man, just dumb, just all dumb. We're all dumb. But that one guy was like, oh, are you from Scotland?
I don't think it's dumb. I really just think there's a fine line of just ignorance. And ignorance isn't a bad thing. It's just you haven't had the opportunity to learn. They just don't know. And it's not that they don't have the capacity. It's just that a lot of them they're like, well, and this is when I had like a when I had a 9-to-5 job. I remember I'm at the water cooler and we're talking about travel to Europe. And literally, well, I just got back from Las Vegas and I visited the Paris in Las Vegas. So how different can the Paris, France be? I'd rather spend money on a BMW than fly my butt all the way to Europe. I mean, I've been to Paris, Vegas.
Oh my Lord.
And this was, and I kind of get it where it's like, okay, you live in LA, you want to have a fancy car, and their idea of traveling the world is going to Vegas and hopping from Paris casino to the Venetian casino and that to them is traveling. They went to Epcot Center. They went to Epcot Center in Orlando and they did the world tour, and that's enough. That's enough for them. What's your thought on that, Nishi?
That is so basic.
Would you drive a Honda Accord in exchange for a trip to Europe, or would you rather have a BMW 5 Series? Which would you choose?
Pakistanis are gold diggers, so very big experience.
See?
We love money. We got it. You come from poverty. You don't want to be poor ever again. You don't want to live in a freaking hut that's like freaking made out of mud. Like if it rains, your house is destroyed. So yeah, I'll take the Beamer. Shoot.
So you'll take the Beamer over the trip to Europe?
Heck yeah.
Maria, what about you?
I'll take the trip to Europe over the Beamer.
See, I'm the same. I am about the experience. Like I've had things and then I've had the experiences and the things go away. The experiences stay with me, but that's just me. I'm not Pakistani, so there you go.
I mean, I get my mom grew up literal same thing. She grew up in the huts on the bamboo sticks because of the flooding, so they would have to put them up high. There was no such thing as electricity. Running water. I remember her telling me, running water is over there. It is the creek down there. That's the running water. Like that's what she grew up in. And I get it. I grew up poor too. I didn't have shit, but like I think seeing the different sides of like money and not money, I like the medium, like I don't need and besides Beamers are not the best cars. So if you're gonna give me a really good car, it's gonna be better than a Beamer. I mean, I'm ghetto and I like being ghetto because to me, ghetto is not being ghetto in what most people in terms of, oh, she ratchet. Like, yeah, I'm a little ratchet, but like I know the difference between like quality versus quantity. It's not about the bling, it's about like, well, if I spend $100,000 on this car, is it going to last me a lifetime? If I spend so much on this instead of that, is it going to be worth it? I'm not about I'm not about the clout. I'm not about like, oh, I want Gucci because I'm wearing Gucci. I'll buy Fucci for $2 as opposed to $200 for the real Gucci. If it's just as cute, why am I going to spend an extra $200? You feel me?
Oh my God, Maria. So I used to work in China and I would fly to China all the time and they have these little markets and you can get all like the fake stuff. And I got my sister this bag. I thought I was like, ooh, and the thing. And she's like, Iggy. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, it says herpes. It says herpes. It's not Hermes. It's herpes, bitch. You got me a herpes bag. You got me some. And I was like, well, can't you just like cut the P or do shoot? I'm not into the fashion and the thing. Like I was like, oh, I was so excited. And she's like, really, Igor, you went all the way to China to give me herpes? Like seriously.
You got
would you ever, and have you ever purchased a fake, knowing it's a fake bag or belt or whatever? Nishi.
Well, sometimes I'm super thirsty, so maybe, I don't know, maybe for my mom because she doesn't know the difference.
There's no maybe, just did you do it or not?
Well,
she's like, I plead the fifth.
But let me just say though, like if I were to get that Beamer, I would definitely sell it and I would use that money to travel because that's what you got to do. Like I'm definitely, sometimes I'm a little fluff, but I love experiences too. And, fake stuff, real stuff, I think it's all BS. Like, I don't need a bag for $14,000 and have like no house. When am I going to live in the bag? It makes no sense. So, no, I have not, but my mom has. And I convinced her that it was real so she would not waste her life.
I love it. See, I will accept gifts. But I will not buy them. All of the like brand name stuff that I have from this, like all like the Rolexes and the Ferragamos and all this. Do you know how many knee pads I had to go through to get that stuff? Like, it is no joke. I'm like, I earned that, but like, I'm not like, I'm one of those people, like, I will not spend money on that crap. Like, not that it's crap, but I will not spend money on that kind of stuff. I will buy a dinner. I will buy a plane ticket. I will get a whatever. But I'm sorry. But when it comes to Ferragamo, the only way that knee pads, that's the only way to do it.
Gifts as well, but they're all fake bags. I have fake Louis, fake, what was it? Michael Kors. I got Michael Dors. I got Louis Vuitton, you know what I'm saying? Like, but there's no real. I'm curious if there is one real, because Filipinos love their fake ass handbags. Like, that's real. Like the goal is so that you can buy a real one day. But let's be honest, like out of those 10 Gucci bags at your mama's house, none of them are real. None of them. So I got plenty of knockoffs at my house, and they're all storage. I put all my stuff in it. Like, they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have really nice storage stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's better than some Tupperware.
So, change a quick topic. Comedy. What got you into comedy, Ms. Nishi?
I knew they were gonna fire me at my job that I was at because I was just going around making memes of people, basically just live tweeting all the stuff that went on in the offices because it was hilarious. I'm like, these people are having staring contests over some stupid utility company BS that nobody even cares about. And I'm over here like, what am I? I'm just like a pawn just to go, we'll put you in IT because you're brown. I did not even have any IT experience. It was ridiculous. They just put me there because they're like, oh, look at her name. She must be good for the internet. And so I was actually literally breaking out into hives. And I remember I had a meeting with my manager who questionably titled manager, she was not my cup of tea, you know? Like she really drove me nuts from the inside out. I broke out into hives, went to my doctor. Doctor was like, "You're allergic to your job." I was literally having an allergic, like panic attack reaction to that environment because I was the most qualified. I never got promoted. I was the most like, you know, I had everything going for me and they kept on oppressing me. And I was like, I can't take this anymore. I need to have freedom to speak and I need freedom to say what the hell I want to say without always walking on eggshells. So I'm like, you know what? I can do that on a stage and I can tell my story. And I just went to like an open mic thing and I felt a rush of, I was like, oh my God, never done drugs before, but this is what heroin must feel like. And I could not sleep all night. And then I was like, boom.
So you did a line of comedy, you did an 8-ball of comedy, and then you were hooked.
Exactly. Instantly.
It's serious. Like I remember my first show was at the Comedy Store and on the same stage where Dave Chappelle filmed his last special. And I remember getting off that stage and I felt that like that high. Oh my God, I felt that high of the comedy. Oh my goodness gracious. Maria, have you played at the Comedy Store?
No, surprisingly, I have not. I haven't. You're talking about the one in San Diego or in LA or either one?
No, not the La Jolla one, but the original one on Sunset.
Oh no, I've done like a couple open mics there, but I haven't gone.
Have you, Nishi? Have you played at the?
Not yet. I was gonna have a show until all this crap shut down.
Okay, so let me just break it down. So there's 3 rooms at the Comedy Store. It's like a giant complex. Okay, so there's like the main room, which is like huge, and that's like where Roseanne Barr did her special, and it's like it seats like 300 something. Then there's like the secondary room, which a lot of the shows go on, and then upstairs they have this tiny little belly room, and that's where Dave Chappelle did his little show. Now,
he did it in the belly room?
What?
I said, he did it in the belly room.
Yeah, he did it in the belly room because it's intimate.
Cool.
And it seats only like 75 to 100. Yeah. It's very intimate. And he sat on the chair with the little gray outfit. I forget what's called Birds and Twigs. I can't remember the name of the special.
Sticks and Stones.
Yes. And so the main stage, the big stage, I remember the first time I played on that big stage and I was so excited. And who was on stage? There was Louis C.K. was there and I thought I had made it. I was so, and I go into the back room and the back room on the main stage is just this gigantic mirrored piano, but it's like mini. Basically, it looks like a Coke den. Everything is glass and mirrors and black. And it's just like, I was like, no one, like, you can't, like, every single surface was like mirrored and glass in the back. I was like, what? It was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, no wonder all of these people have lost their minds. Robin Williams to you name it, Richard Pryor. You couldn't go back. It was insane. I was just like, holy moly cannoli. It's insane. And things have calmed down since then. People have kind of rolled it back. It's not like flowing like it was in the 70s and the 80s, but which takes me to my most important point. Have you ever gone on stage not sober, either drunk or hot or something? You don't got to admit to what it was, but have you ever gotten on stage to perform not sober?
I am allergic to alcohol, so I am always sober. So that is the reality of my life. I cannot drown away anything except by complaining and, maybe just having an eating disorder. I don't know. But no, I've never been under the influence, which is
you just hot dog in life.
Wow.
I'm aware. I'm too aware.
That's why you do comedy. That's why you're doing comedy, so that you can get that high that everybody else gets when they go down the street and, get their little 8-ball or 1/8 of a gram of a whatever they get. Maria, how about you?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm allergic to alcohol too. I get the cherry glow. One time I got sunburned from whiskey, as in it burned my face so bad when I was drinking it. This was when I was young, but I just was like, if you touched my face, you could see like it looked like sunburn and it was burning. But I pushed through, and so now I can drink. I still get the cherry glow, but no, there's been a couple of times where you just to get the edge off, and I was just a little nervous. It happened maybe like twice where I was like, okay, I should have chilled out. It was one time at like this midnight mic in LA. I think it was like the Spades Club or something. It was just like a little dive bar. And I was on like towards the very end. And by that time, me and my friends that were there had done like 6 shots and 3 whiskey cokes. And it was just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Honestly, it's too late now. It's midnight. I'm already past. Like, I just came out here trying to get some D. So I don't know. Like, now it's too late because everybody's left. You know, all the choices that I wanted are all gone. And now I'm like, what was my best? Wasn't my worst. Definitely wasn't my best. I don't really drink though that often, but when I do, it's for a reason. Like there's no such thing as, oh, I just want a drink. No, if I'm drinking, I'm about to be obliterated.
Maria's no quitter. That's right, Ray. Maria is not a quitter. She gonna make it through. She gonna make it through. So, what is the worst show you've ever done? Have you been on stage where like you're like, oh my lord, what was the worst show that you have ever done, or that where you're just like, oh my, what are the toughest shows that you've ever done? Maria, Nishi.
Oh, did you have one? You can go first.
Go for it.
It was that one place. It's down in like El Cajon or somewhere in San Diego. It was like a kind of an outdoor place. I think it was like Beauty Bar or somewhere near. I just remember it was one of those dingy dive bars, which was cool. But man, nobody was laughing. I can usually get at least a couple laughs, and I just like I had like maybe one laugh out of that whole set, and I was like, y'all really. And then thankfully it wasn't just me, like it was the crowd, because there were a bunch of like, it's when hipsters first started coming out, and I was like, oh, you're a bunch of hipster fucks, so you don't know what comedy is even, so whatever. But man, they were just like, I was like, oh, okay, you're all dead inside too. That's cool. I'm just gonna call it.
What about you, Nishi? What was your toughest show?
Oh, you know, the tougher shows have been online for me, honestly. It's been a challenge doing online. I think the live shows have been, you know, they have their own thing, and then you can pick it up and interact with the audience and change it a little bit. But I think it was just the first time I did a Zoom show and I could not hear any laughter or get any reaction. And I just started panicking, and I was like, where is everyone? And all of a sudden are my jokes just like flat, and do I just suck? And then I just went into like this pit of despair, and it was no good. It was pretty scary. So
wow. Okay. Are you still doing any Zoom shows then? Have you given up on the?
I have not stopped. I will still continue.
Are you producing any shows, or do you just actively participate in the shows? What's your jam?
Yeah, actually, I'm producing a show, and Maria is going to be on it.
Oh, nice. When's the show?
So it will be September 25th, Friday.
Very cool. Friday. September 25th. Okay.
Yeah. And it's called Brown Rice. So it's me, the brown person, and the rice is my Asian friend producing it.
So do you have to be brown and Asian to be part of the show?
No, you don't. But I like to put people on that I feel like, you know, they need more exposure, not just the typical, you know, stand-up guy type of person. So I try to get more females, like try to get more people that are so much more than just, let's talk about airport food, you know, like just stupid stuff, you know, that I'm like sick of. And like I'm just sick of like no offense, but like the male dominated jokes that about wife beating and like all this stuff that I'm overwhelmed with. So
you know.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So Nishi is over the men beating their wife jokes. So all the men watching, can you please stop making jokes about beating your wife? Keep beating them, but just don't make jokes about it. Thank you, Nishi, for that PSA. I'm totally kidding. Stop beating your wives and stop telling jokes. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Come on. I need that female approval. I need that. Like I felt like Nishi in her first Zoom show. Like there's nothing happening. What do I do? Oh my god. No, I agree that there are so many voices in comedy that are not being heard and so many perspectives. And so that's why, I started the Misfit Toys, and I was lucky enough to meet Maria and help. I've been in comedy for almost 20 years. And so I've performed all over, and I've studied with a lot of different comedy coaches and comedians, and I write for a lot of people. And I've just wanted to, during this time of COVID, was a pause. And I was like, okay, how can I regroup and really still follow a passion of mine, be of service, and still be successful? And then we launched this comedy studio, and then we launched this podcast, and we really focus on how to help women, cis, and trans, any woman, how to find their true comedic character and really bring that out on stage, and how to turn that vulnerability and transform that into comedic gold. And so we really work on that. And Maria, how has it been for you studying with the Misfit Toys? And that because we've been doing this for almost 4 months now. So like, what's this experience been like for you?
It's been fantastic, to be honest. Like, I've been doing comedy off and on for, I don't know, almost 15 years, something around like that. And so I started out in San Diego. I was 19 the first time I got on stage. I was lucky enough to be able to do an open mic in El Centro, of all places. If you don't know where that's at, of course you don't. Thank your lucky stars. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of the desert. And there's no any kind of comedy scene or artistic scene out there. And I did. So after that, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And it took me a while to really find my voice. And then I think after I moved, I was in San Diego. I was doing comedy for maybe 2 or 3 years. I was like, oh, let me head out to LA. But I learned very quickly, like, oh, I have to actually have a job to live in LA. So comedy was put on hold. And so even when you like have been doing it for years, once I started it up again, which was this past November, I had been out of the game for so long that I really was like, oh, it's like starting from scratch. And so working with Iggy, he taught me all of those basics, not even basics, even more so, basic, like the fundamentals, the foundation. He taught me all of that. That would have taken me another, 5 years, 2, 3, 5 years, however long, because how you learn a lot of this stuff is through trial and error. Is, okay, what worked? Where did they laugh? You listen and whatever. But because of him, it was kind of like fast track for me. It was like, I picked up all the foundation and the fundamentals. And I learned how to trim the fat of my jokes, without having to perform them every time to see what hit and what didn't. Like, I learned how to okay, let's just get to the point. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then oh, now I have a 5-minute set. And then from there, you can trim the fat even more. But yeah, I learned that in the last 4 months. Like, my jokes, if you look at my jokes from before I met Iggy to now, I'm going to just say, don't look at my jokes before. Let's just pretend like those didn't. Like, some of them were okay, but now, I'm like, okay, let's look at these. Let's look at the progress, not the so, for sure. So thank you, Iggy. I love you. You're the best.
That's awesome. I love that.
Have you?
Oh, thank you, Ray. And thank you to Audrey. I forgot to respond earlier to Audrey. She's like, love you, Maria. I was like, I love you too, boo. Hook me with one of your hot Scottish friends. Hey.
Have you ever studied with anybody? Have you just gotten up and done it on your own? Have you read any books? Like, how did you get going, get motivated, get the momentum?
Well, first I studied South Park pretty heavily. Because that's the TV show that my parents put on in front of me as a kid, because they thought it was a cartoon and it was harmless. And real people shows were dangerous because there's a potential that there would be sexual things, which South Park accomplishes already. So it taught me everything. So it had been a while. I only watched comedy. I would only watch every other genre. To me was completely useless. I'm like, this does nothing for me. So I started writing sketches and stuff, and I went to Second City. I went to UCB, and I was on their house team for different things, and the writers group. And so I just immersed myself around a bunch of writers and around a bunch of performers. And then I would just, study with there's Bobby Oliver, of Dow Studio. Like that was the first actual class that I took on
Uh-huh.
it.
Oh, wow. You studied with Dow, the Dow Studio.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome with the other ones too, but I love the Dow because it's like focused on like women and the LGBTQ and all that. So Bobby is really awesome.
Yeah, she was wonderful. She was like so encouraging too. And I think I needed that because I had never really had that before. So it was more of like, she was like an emotional support animal for me. And on top of that, like a teacher. So it was great because she taught me all about the pause.
Yes. That's Iggy taught me the pause. I was like, oh, what is this pause?
I was like, just shut up.
Yeah, I was that kid that thought
Maria, stop talking.
every report card as a kid, every like report card was, she's great, but she talks too much. Da 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 da, but she talks too much. Like I didn't know you could just shut up during a set, and it'd also be funny. Crazy, Iggy. You got so many tricks and tips. Crazy.
Oh, I love it. Hold on, give me girls 1 second.
The dog is probably chewing through something. Oh.
All right. It is time for the mansplaining moment of our show. Miss Nishi. Actually, let's start with Maria so she can get how it goes. Maria, this week, has there been anything that you wish that you could tell us menses from around the country and the world that you've experienced that you would like us to know about you females?
That's I don't know if you have something, Nishi, like before I come up with something, because I usually go for the groin. I'm just like, you know. So maybe we could start something light, with something. We could even start with mansplaining, just mansplaining. You know what I mean? Like always assuming that we don't know what they're talking about because they think they're smarter than us.
Oh.
And yes, exactly. Which is not the case. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. That's something that I just cannot stand when guys just think, or even better, when they want to give you your opinion. And even if you clearly say like, just, I don't care and I don't want to hear it, they still try to tell you. Like, I'm like, sir, I'm at a bar. I don't want life lessons from you. You clearly failed because you're here with me. So,
what about you, Nishi? Where have you experienced some moments where you're like, excuse me?
Oh, men trying to explain to me that pregnancy is not that hard. Please stop trying to convince me that it's just a natural part of life and everyone goes through it. And therefore, you'll just get over it. When you have the baby, you'll return to normal. Everything will be fine. You're not going to sag. You're not going to have stretch marks. You're not going to have body image issues. So just shut up and just deal with it.
Is that how it was for you when you had your child?
Well, I'm currently pregnant, and every time I tell a guy or they find out, they're like, oh, that's really cool. Congratulations. And this is like, you know, this is cool because you're not like all emotional and like hormonal and stuff. And I'm like, what the actual F are you talking about? So I'm like, I just peed myself. Like, what? You know, I can't control my bodily fluids, and you're telling me it's nothing. It drives me nuts. Sorry.
No.
do not apologize, girl. You better tell them. Tell them.
So I love
I'm
that
I'm a woman,
men
and I don't even. I'm like, I don't
we're trying to tell you how to be pregnant better.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Well, when you get pregnant and have a baby, you come back and tell us.
You know what one guy said? He's like, I had 5 kids. It's not that hard. And then he blocked me on Facebook because he was offended by my post that I put up as a joke. I put that I now understand women are hella strong, and I apologize for not understanding that before. So now I like to open doors for the weaker sex.
Yes. Like, here, you little bitch. Go on ahead.
And he got mad. He was like, well, that's not fair. I raised 5 kids. Okay. And I'm pretty sure you're...
And see, Ray knows. I love Ray. Ray just knows. His wife bit him. And he's like, it happened.
That's so sweet.
It happened. That was the least of my worries. She bit. Compared to the kid, I'm sure it was nothing.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to switch my hat back. Let's see. Ooh, we're going to put on, now we're going to go back to the summer vibes. So how has this COVID been? It's been challenging for all of us, but it's also been a blessing for many of us. Have there been any blessings for you, Nishi, during this challenging period of COVID, Corona, lockdown? What is the silver lining for you?
Well, all of a sudden, I did not know this, but COVID causes fertility. So having my first child, that was the first blessing. Immediately got pregnant the first week of quarantine. Immediately. Yeah. Because he'd be working all day. I'd be doing open mics and stuff at night and shows, and we wouldn't really have time.
You were that couple. Because there was those, I saw the memes. There's like the couple that they're just like boning left and right. And then there's the couple that they're like reading each side of the sofa. You were that funky couple. You were that nasty couple that was just left, right, center, up, down, upside down, kitchen, floor, wherever. That was you. That was you.
That was us. Yeah. And the neighbors were like, is your husband beating you? Because we hear stuff. And I'm like, yes, because I was so embarrassed.
Mind your business.
I love it. You're so she don't look so freaky deaky on the outside, but inside she's like,
Like, I want you to fight me.
It's pack me standing. Is that how it is? It's pack me standing. Is that?
It gets worse. It definitely gets worse after you're pregnant, because then the hormones are like, we want more children.
God.
I'm surprised you still have furniture in your house, Nishi. Like, I'm surprised that things they're just busted down. Everything is like on like one leg, just hanging like thing. You're like, you just destroyed the entire apartment.
I haven't seen the living room.
Right.
Oh my goodness. I love it. What about you, Maria? Silver lining.
Oh,
I mean, we talked about this a lot on the show and everything, but let's say this week's silver lining.
This week's silver lining. Let's see. I don't have an excuse to not get stuff done. Like, you know, I don't know, just little things like paying bills or chores, laundry, stuff like that. Like, I had to make a schedule for myself of things to do, because thankfully, also silver lining my comedy, but thankfully I have a lot of shows throughout the week. So, and they're at random times. So, you know, if I have like a show at this time, I'm like, well, I got to do laundry because I'm on my last pair of clean chonies. I got to like make sure I do this before that. I got to make sure I eat, because every time, I don't know why, but every time I do a show, I always forget to eat before, and then I'm hungry. I'm sitting there every show hungry as heck, trying to find a little snack bar around me. I'm like, I know my fat ass has something around. It's like a scavenger hunt during these shows, trying to look inconspicuous, by the way. You know, I'm like trying to be all like slick, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me just and then I don't want to look like crazy, like I don't want to be disruptive, like I'm like in class, so I like take a bite off screen, like, oh, what is that on the floor that I must pick up? And I come back and I'm like, you know. Well, silver lining forces me to get stuff done at an appropriate time, make a schedule, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
These Zoom shows, are they here to stay, Nishi? What do you think?
Oh, I guess. I mean, for the next 2 years, they're saying everything's going to be shut down. So, I mean, I think it's good for us, because if you're a comic that doesn't know how to be on video, then you're getting a whole new education. And because I didn't know how to be on video, I realized I didn't know anything about framing or lighting or anything like that. So I think it's a good experience nonetheless. And if you're going to be, you're going to have a bad attitude about it, then guess what? Some of us who are working hard, who are just going to put up with it, we're just going to do it and we're going to come out even better. So.
No, it's interesting because like doing a Zoom show for me is a lot more exhausting than doing a club show. Because I can hang out in the green room, I can eat, and then I get up, I do my thing. It's like I tried to explain to Maria. I was like, it's kind of like imagine like for those who don't know comedy. It's like being a comedian and doing a comedy Zoom show is like doing your show and then sitting in the front row of the show.
Yes.
It's like you just got off the stage and then you sit front row at the club and you're there and you're part of the show the entire time. And it is just exhausting to be like smiling the whole time and you're like sitting there and you're like, oh my God, I want to stab my eye with a fork. Oh my God. Or in Maria's case, I want to eat something off the floor. Like
Exactly. I can't do that right now because there's a bunch of people watching.
So does anybody have anything coming up that's super exciting? We have the show you said on the 25th. Okay.
I thought it was 24th. I was like, wait, what? And then I checked my calendar. I was like, oh, okay.
So we got the show on the 25th. Nisha, are you performing anywhere else?
I am, man, I have another Instagram and Facebook live show that we do to educate people on brown stuff. It's called The Non-Essentials.
Love it.
And it's usually on Wednesdays every week. Yeah, and then I'll have a live show coming up soon in Beverly Hills.
Fantastic. What about you, Maria? What else is going on for the month of September?
Oh, tomorrow, actually, I have a show. It's called The Sofa King Comedy Show. Isn't that so clever? I just love it. Our friend Jennifer, who was on here 2 weeks ago, I believe, she is producing that show, Vitamin Chi Comedy. She also does acupuncture. I love it. So I have that coming up tomorrow. You can find that link to get tickets. I think tickets are free. Just RSVP so that we know who to send out the Zoom info to. But it's on my link in bio. So I have my link tree with all my stuff. So everything you can find, you can find it on my link tree. That's tomorrow, I believe at 6 p.m. And then on Sunday, I don't know if everybody wants to go to this, but it's a 15-minute challenge that I'm doing with Dat Fan. So it's, if you want to go, by all means. It's just 15 minutes a person. It's kind of a lot to sit through. So, but if you're welcome to join. You can find that information on my page as well. You just got to text the phone number, and he'll send you the info for Sunday. That's on Sunday.
I love it. I'm going to be holding auditions this month for the Misfit toys. So if you are a female that wants to better her comedy, wants to really find her comedic voice and take it to that next level and really become a player, message me. We'll set up. You can find me on Insta, Iggy LoveSky. You can find me on Facebook, Iggy LoveSky Comedy. Reach out to me. We're looking for females with really unique perspectives and have something to say. And so, we're a select group of females, and we're preparing for our first tour, which is going to be going on this fall. It's going to be a digital tour, but as soon as the COVID protocols are lifted, we will be touring live. So if you want to join the Misfit Toys and you want to audition, what time is the show on the 25th? Ray's asking.
I think it's at 6, but let me. 6 p.m.
So just message Nishi on her Insta. She will let you know. And then we will definitely post it via Facebook. So I will be posting it and sending out links. But again, if you know a funny woman, a funny girl that has a unique voice that really wants to, make it and say something and get up on that platform and give a little medicine with a lot of sugar, let me know. And this is going to be the month that we're really holding big auditions and looking for the next hot Misfit toys. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Nishi, thank you so much for being such an amazing guest. Maria, as always, I love you. Ray, you're awesome. Audrey, what's up, girl? Thank you so much for watching. Danielle, everybody, we will see you next week. Make sure you catch everybody's shows, check their bios, or hit them up on Instagram. I love you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.